Bulletin boards. I am a big supporter of connecting them with education and yet still making them attractive. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary Ellen and I am an educator in the state of Illinois. You probably noticed throughout my channel that environment is a big factor in my educational experience. And I have noticed this to be true with a lot, not all, but a lot of people with ADHD. And bulletin boards within the classroom is really important to me. I do like it to be connected with education, but if it's messy or there's no structure to it, then a lot of times I can't handle being within the classroom. So how do you find a balance with that, having students be involved in creating it and yet it not being unstructured? Well, I'm going to show you some examples of how I have been able to incorporate this in the past. Since this is November, I'm going to focus on autumn boards. Our first board says we're nuts about math. None of the acorns on this board look the same. The students were provided with a choice on how they created their acorn. They also cut the acorn spaces, cut out the pieces, and glued them all together. Just on this process alone, I worked on several different skill sets. Then the students picked out 5 different math problems from all of the math that we have learned throughout the year. They had their choice on what math problems they chose. They wrote it down on a piece of paper. I reviewed the problems to make sure they were correct, and then they put them on their acorn. So we reviewed some motor skills, and we also reviewed the math that we had been learning this far in the year. Looking at our next board, you're probably wondering what educational purposes I was able to utilize other than art. Well, I used a pocket chart, making sure that students could read the sentence strips and follow the directions and check for which students needed support and comprehension. Pocket chart directions do not have to be boring, and what the students create from these lessons can be creatively displayed. The students were really excited to see how their project was displayed within the classroom. Just as an important side note here is that these boards were created with different grade levels, so each one is kind of expressing a different area of understanding. For our next board, these students had been learning about fall. We've been discussing acorns, leaves, and chlorophyll. In this particular board, students were expressing some of the information that they had learned. I utilized this as a midway point assessment, and that is why you see some of the leaves multicolored. Thanksgiving time. In this class, I was working on shapes, imagery, and creativity. On this board, you can see that our turkeys are all different shapes, which is one of the things that we were focusing on in class. We are also learning about imagery. When I said, have a gobbling good Thanksgiving, I asked the class what they visualized. Providing students with hands-on discovery and creative choice really helps promote the learning experiences as they realize it is okay to take risks in your work, and that if you make a mistake, that's okay too. Work with it and see where it leads you. Our next board takes us back into the realm of math practice. For this board, the students wrote their math facts on leaves. They chose what facts they wanted to put on their leaves. This free choice was a great modification tool. The leaves ranged from addition facts, multiplication facts, fact families, fraction, place value, and even some division. They did a great job showing off math knowledge. Although the next one I'm going to look at is a hallway display, I still consider it a type of bulletin board. My students and I had just finished reading Charlotte's Web, and we had also been investigating different types of spiders. For this particular display, they had a choice of creating 4 different types of spider crafts, which you see hanging from the ceiling. Then the students conducted and typed a research report of spiders, which are displayed on the wall. It is time to gobble up some good facts. I always like to focus on the surrounding holiday and play on words. The students were able to construct the turkey craft. Then they came up with the math facts that the turkeys are holding. This particular board, or door, was not finished at the time I took the picture. However, for this display, the students were able to again create a craft. However, they also had to do a book review. The students were able to read any book they wanted. It could be one we read together in class, one they read at home, one they checked out at the library, one we read in a small group, whichever one they chose. After they chose their book, they then completed the book review over it and shared it with the rest of the class. Then we displayed it on our door. This project had an additional purpose of providing the students within the class more books to read. But do be prepared not to let the students give away the ending of the stories, because every single time a report was given, the students had so many questions about the books and they were so excited that I really did have to stop the kids and not let them give away that ending of the story. So it is a great activity to utilize, which leads to a wonderful and exciting bulletin board. Those were just a few of my fall bulletin boards that I've utilized over the years and how I've been able to get my students involved in the creation of them. I hope you were inspired by at least one of them and are ready to get out there and get your students involved. Please don't forget to hit the like button on my video and to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to be proud of your work, productive in your day, and positively joyful.